What's up, you guys? It's Matt here. So I wanted to talk to you about credit card mistakes. Now, I recently did a video on my TikTok to where I went over some credit card mistakes, but you only have 1 minute over there, and I'll make sure to do updates over there. If you're interested in my TikTok, make sure you check it out. The name will be right here, I believe. One of the two. It'll be somewhere. But definitely check that out. I upload there probably like twice a day. But before I jump into this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this one. Now, credit card mistakes. This is interesting because a lot of people stick to the same credit card mistakes, which some of them will be on here because those are major mistakes that you don't want to make with credit cards. And hopefully seeing all of these mistakes that people make, that you could potentially make, will give you the understanding that credit cards are no joke and you need to understand everything that goes on with credit cards, because even someone to my stature that understands a lot about credit cards still ends up making some mistakes. So let's start with the first mistake, and it's not paying your bill. Now, I made this mistake recently. If you are familiar with my channel, I recently made this mistake to where my credit score dropped dramatically because I actually missed a payment, and it was because I just didn't realize that we made an automatic payment on a credit card that I haven't really used that much. And that's the problem. If you have too many credit cards, then you end up not making a payment, and it's not necessarily your fault, but no matter what, you can't go back from it. So always look at all of your balances, understand all of your balances, have a tracking system that I didn't use in like a couple of months. So have a tracking system to understand what your bills are, your balances, and what you need to make when it comes to the payments. The next thing is using too much credit. Now, this is not necessarily about, using too much of your money. This is about using too much credit, because your credit score will suffer if you use over, let's say, 30%. If you use, obviously people don't really want to use over 10% of their credit card utilization, but if you use too much, your credit score is going to suffer. And this is a mistake that a lot of people make, is they'll get $1,000 credit line and they'll use the whole thing. And it looks like they have 100% credit utilization, which is horrible. So don't use too much of your credit because it's going to mess up your credit score. Now, also looking at the form of cash, looking at that amount of credit. The third thing would be viewing your credit as cash. And what do I mean by this? Basically, you're taking all the money in your bank account and you're saying you have $1,000 in your bank account. Then you take the money in your credit line and you say, all right, I have $1,000 here. And now you're combining it and saying I have $2,000 of available cash or available spend. No, that's not the case. You have $1,000 because you're using the $1,000 or however much of the credit you want to use. I recommend not using all of it, but you're using, let's say, $300 of that, which means that you need to pay that $300 off with the $300 that you have in cash. So you only have $1,000 in total, but people look at it and go, you know what, I'll have, $1,000 here. I'll spend all this money on my credit card and I'll pay it off later. No, you're looking at it the wrong way. And then your balance is going to increase way too much because you're spending way above your means. The next thing that I see a lot of people do is they make too many payments. Now, there are some credit cards that will not give you rewards if the statement didn't actually happen. So if you didn't receive a statement yet, whether it's electronic statement or physical statement, then you will not get those rewards. You're paying too early. So a lot of credit card companies will go about this rule. And I've had a number of times to where I have made multiple payments and I didn't receive my rewards for it. So you got to look out for these terms when it comes to these credit cards. Some credit card companies won't do this. No matter how many payments you make, you've used the credit, it's gone through their system and you're able to capture those rewards. But some credit card companies will not do that. Until your statement comes out and you make that statement payment, the statement balance payment, then you will receive those rewards for that money. Now, depending on what card it is, you look at Citi, you get 1% when you buy, 1% when you pay. That's a different scenario. But you don't want to make too many payments on the card. I always recommend just waiting for the statement balance, paying it on the statement balance. You'll get the max amount of rewards then, and you don't have to worry about that if you haven't read the terms or conditions. The next thing is spending outside the rewards categories. This is something I see a lot, to where somebody will have 4 times on dining, 4 times on supermarkets, and then they'll use the card for clothing purchases. It makes no sense. If you don't have any other card that will give you rewards, and I understand. But if you have a bunch of cards that have different rewards, or let's say you go to Old Navy or the Gap or whatever, you end up getting 5 times 5% back. but you don't use that card. You use the gold card, which will give you 1 times back, or 2% if you wanted to transfer those points to airlines. That's not enough compared to how much you would get with the Gap card or with the Old Navy card, that type of credit card. So always understand where you're spending money and what credit cards you can use in those situations. Don't just use credit cards because you're used to using that credit card. And the last thing I have on this list, which is really simple, is making the minimum payments. People make this mistake all the time, is they make the minimum payments and then they have to pay so much in interest. That's not what you want. Don't pay the amount of interest that they're looking to make you pay. Pay the whole statement balance off, or pay a larger majority so you're paying less interest. That's my video, guys. Mistakes are horrible when it comes to credit cards. Don't make these mistakes. There are a lot more mistakes out there. I just wanted to narrow down to these mistakes. These are not the most important mistakes. There are some that are the most important, some that are more minute, but then you look at a lot of them as a whole and they take a toll on your credit score, on your life, on your balance, things like that. It's just a lot to deal with. So make sure you don't make these mistakes. But that's my video. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the notification bell. That helps me out a lot. And check out some of the links down below, credit card links, my store link, also Webull. Get your 2 free stocks. But that's my video, guys. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.